I'm sorry, I was distracted by giving people points. Hello, we're back. I was trying to give everybody their 1,000 points.
For you.
I promised if they showed up today for our dual streaming thing.
You did indeed promise.
Oh, no. There is auto gain, Extreme Look Guy. There is auto gain from existing in stream. I set it up to be identical to how fast you get ones in Twitch. However, I did say in Discord that if you showed up to this debut, quote-unquote, dual stream, that you'd get 1,000 points. So that's what I was...
It's a special stream, essentially.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing. If I missed you and you're here, sound off in chat if you want your 1,000 points.
You want to make sure you are getting your points.
Alrighty. But with that, we shall move on to Comic Corner. Again, look at this nice, great little different window. It is different than the other window. It is set up different than the other window.
Oh, nice.
Slightly different, but still technically different. So that's fun. I hope to make
absolutely love
the break screens and the everything sort of who's-a-whatsy, you know, match this aesthetic, because they match a different aesthetic right now, you know. But so that'll be nice. That'll be fun. And yapparoony. All right, welcome to Comic Corner. I have way too many things open, if I'm being honest.
Where we talk about comic things. And
well, I draw comic things.
Yes.
And we have really, really sassy Milana right here.
Very lovely comic thing going on right there.
Yeah, sassy boy, my sassy boy. And Mars today is going to talk about summarizing your story.
Yes.
Oh no, Jamie.
Very important. Oh no, Jamie.
What's happened? Well, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but I hope you're doing all right.
We don't want to pry or anything, but we hope you're okay.
Yeah. Sorry, my day yesterday sucked, so I can commiserate with the turns for the worse. But
oh yes, it's sometimes it just happens, no rhyme or reason.
But yeah, let's talk about summarizing your story, Mars. Hopefully Jamie will.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that sucks.
No.
That's real bad. So sorry.
That's
the worst.
Awful. That's stressful. I'm sorry, Jamie.
I hope it all works out.
Me too.
Oof, indeed.
You know, sometimes these things do have a way of working out.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Very
hard. In the meantime, you can learn about comics.
Well, thank you for the segue, Ori. Seamless as always.
Indeed. Oh no! Ooh.
Oh, that's not fair.
That's even worse. I'm guessing it's Thanksgiving related or something, or I don't. Well, you are Ohio, right? So you would be Thanksgiving. Yeah, I would assume it's Thanksgiving.
Holidays, definitely.
I mean, you could be in America and not celebrate Thanksgiving, but just like math-wise, you know, it's likely.
I gotta say, if we're talking math-wise, Thanksgiving is in 2 days. That's a little late for them to be springing something on you.
That is very true, but...
What have been nice to have like a how does work do this? A 2 weeks notice?
Yeah, one of our people at our table, his parents do that to him a lot, and it's
Oh
very
yeah.
unfortunate.
But we
Yeah, that really
usually get a
sucks.
board game night out of it. Oh, that sucks, Jamie. I remember in college I would do friendsgivings all the time. Like every year. It was tradition. Oh, it was so good. I miss it so much.
Nice parents in Ohio. Oh well, that John, I feel bad for you dunking on your parents. uh, calling them out really with that
At least
sentiment, huh?
you got John'em in your corner.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want John'em in their corner?
Any food and any adjacent food, because then he'll probably eat you. He is the all-consuming.
And possibly chickens? I'm not sure.
He is a chicken that does consume all.
Okay, so chickens
That's
are
how it
safe.
works out. Yeah,
Chickens
yeah,
are safe. That's good.
Well, he'll probably eat other chickens, if I'm being honest. He
Well, that's
consumes all.
cannibalism.
Yeah, he's not against chicken. You know, he's not against cannibalism. Can you tame him? I don't know about that. Johnum's sort of just an entity. He just sort of exists in the ether.
It's an entity that's shaped like a chicken.
Yeah. And other entities are your story plots. We're trying to bring it all back.
Yes. Trying to bring it back around.
Bring it back around. So essentially what we'll be talking about today, I'll lead you in, Mars.
Oh, okay. Well, if you must.
Yeah, we'll lead you in. The great and powerful Mars has made many a plot, many a story, right? However, how do you tell people about that, right? How do you squish it down into a nice couple, sentence or two elevator pitch-esque summary, synopsis for you to put on, maybe that's in the cover, the inside cover or the back of your book, or anywhere you're posting it.
It's really good that you use the phrase elevator pitch, because that's essentially how you have to think of it. Because what you're trying to do, you could have a chapter length story. You could even have a one-page fan fiction. But depending on where you're advertising it, like Webtoon, Archive of Our Own, even if you're publishing a book, you have to condense your synopsis into either what's going to fit the character limit or what can fit on the back cover of the book you're trying to write. So how do you get people interested? How do you hook them with just a couple words and make them want to pick up your story? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, creating the plot synopsis for Outcast was definitely a bit of a challenge. And I say that because, yes, character limits. Well, I feel they should be called letter limits. You're using letters, it makes more sense. But anyway.
Well, I guess it counts as like exclamation points and spaces
true.
and periods
Numbers
and,
them.
commas, all
right.
that sort of stuff.
Characters can stay, not to be confused with character limits, which is how much you push your characters until they hit the brink of trauma.
Oh, brink of trauma. Where have you been, Mar? The brink of trauma. Oh.
We're toeing the edge. We're toeing the edge. But no, actually, that's a good segue as well, because when creating the plot synopsis, I was kind of stuck for a little while. Because for so long, I had been thinking about this story as the bigger picture, as a complete story. And now I had to kind of train myself, okay, how do I condense this? What's the most important element to tell people? And I think there are three things you want to keep in mind when writing a plot synopsis. The first one, and I keep saying it over and over, you want to make sure that you hook your reader. So you want to make sure you're giving them something juicy to hang on to. Maybe something maybe a quote from a character, or maybe a quick summary of how this world works to get them interested in the world you've created. Maybe you just I've seen a couple webtoons just come out and say what genre they are, or even if they're subverting the genre type, but it's something that you read and you're like, ooh, I want to see what that's all about. So that's something you want to make sure of. Another thing you want to include, and this is, I personally think, the most important element, you want to include crucial information, but you also don't want to give anything away. And it's a trickier balance than you may think. Because especially when you're writing about your characters, you know who they are, you know what they're going to learn, you know what they're going to become, or you know what secrets they may be hiding that'll be revealed later. But you can't tell your audience that, not right away at least. So you kind of gotta leave those details to the wayside while still making sure to keep all the important stuff. So those are the two big reasons. There was a third, but it escapes me. Maybe it'll come back. And if anyone wants me to elaborate on anything or go back over what I just said, or if you have any questions.
Well, that's an so Jamie brings up an interesting little thing, and that is sort of how it seems these days that in movie trailers they just sort of tell all, right? So I guess the big question is, well, I understand it's a joke, Jamie, and I learned something recently about movie trailers where the people who make the trailers
to be analyzed.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna lead into question, but very quick thing about movie trailers is that I learned that the people who make the movie trailers have to make the trailers long before the movie is done, and so that's why the trailers usually have those sort of bits that you never ever see in the movie, because they took what they had and made a trailer, and then the movie cut those parts out at the end, right? So that happened afterwards. So that's why there's a lot of times, like, the big one that Dylan hates is, in the Jason Bourne movie, one of them, I think it's the third one, the trailer, the one guy, like, head of the guys hunting down, oh, thank you for the follow, Atathis. I can read eventually. But, okay. Alerts are not happening. Don't know why that is. But, we'll try this again.
We shall fix that.
And so in the trailer it says, "By God, it's Jason Bourne." That never happens in the movie. And Dylan is very, very sad. I got there, Atathis. I got there. It took me a second, but I made it work. I made it happen.
Yes. There are some kinks with Stream tonight that we're slowly working out as we discover them.
I think I need to make both of these things happen.
Please, Atathis, let us know if we are pronouncing your name wrong or if there's something else you'd like to
Jamie.
be called.
They never say that line in the movie. Dylan was waiting for it when I showed him it. He was waiting for it. No, the closest they get is the same guy says, "Jesus Christ," and something. But he never says, "My God, it's Jason Bourne." It doesn't hit the same. It really doesn't hit the same. But, yeah. Yeah. They say a very similar line, but it's not the line, right? But so...
It's very fascinating with movie trailers, because it is pretty much exactly like what you said. The marketing team is handed essentially an unfinished movie. They're given a couple scenes and they're told, here, make this something that people will want to see. So they're kind of left scrambling a little bit. That's why you'll also hear a lot of public domain music as well, because half the time not even the soundtrack for the film is complete by the time the trailer is released, which is an even more fascinating side of things.
Indeed. But so the question I would ask, Mars, is sort of that sort of finding that middle ground, right? Like, you definitely want to you want to bring people in. You want to make sure that they get at least enough of an idea of the story that they're not going to be surprised, because that's another thing. You don't want to give so little that they're like, this is not what I thought this was going to be when you start reading it. But also without giving away, like, the main, spoilers, right?
So that is a fantastic point you bring up.
Yeah, that's what
because
Jamie's saying.
You don't want to be too specific, but you also don't want to be too vague either. Because like Rory said, your reader won't know what they're getting into. And maybe there's someone out there who likes to take a chance on things, but most people only have so much time in their day. And if they're not interested in what you've put in front of them, they're going to think their time is better spent elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is.
It's a balancing act.
It can be a difficult balance, exactly. You're pretty much on a tightrope doing it. But what was interesting about writing for Outcast is our synopsis, since we only have season one is kind of... It takes place mainly on the island. So even though we know we're going places in the future, that doesn't have to really come up in the synopsis.
At least not right now.
Allude to it. At least not yet. There could be an updated synopsis in the future once we get to that.
And that's a benefit of sort of, the webcomic form of that, like it takes a long time to release, right? You're not releasing it all at once. Is that can have these sort of layered things.
Well, that was another thing I was going to say, since you brought up the movie comparison. With movie trailers, they're being handed, hey, here's a bunch of random clips, stick them together and make something awesome. Whereas it's comparing apples to oranges, honestly, but we created a trailer as well. And what we're able to do with ours, because it is a comic, it's not a movie or a serialized anything, really, we're allowed to create the specific scenes that we need to go in that trailer. And we can tailor it in a way that it's revealing just enough, but not too much at the same time. So I would say, like, we dodged that bullet by a long shot. I don't even think we were even in danger of that, because of just how much control we had over the trailer. We have a lot more control over what information our audience is getting going into the series.
Mm-hmm. I have to find out where this is spelled wrong. Where did I spell Outcast wrong? There's too many places that I have the word Outcast written.
Oh boy. Yes, so Jamie, the full comic title is Outcast with an E. There is some hidden symbolism in that. So Outcast is about a gang of pirates. Pirates historically were the outcasts of society. Pirates were varied in race, ethnicity, gender. Basically, they were pushed from society and they took to the seas in that sense. So that's why we went with pirates. Not only for the pirate element, but outcast. You're an outcast, you don't fit into the group. I mean, good grief, that is our boys in a nutshell. But then also you may question why we have the E at the end. That's to allude to a class or a caste system of sorts. Because our world, I'm sure you've heard before, but I'll briefly summarize. Our world is made up
exactly,
of
Johnum.
Exalium, known as scholars. And they are the outcasts of society. Yes, that is it, Johnum. You caught on.
I found it, Jamie. Thank you. I understand.
There you go.
Took me a minute.
Well, we definitely wanted a title with layers, or at least I wanted a title with layers. You guys will pick up very quickly. I love my layers, even when it comes to the plot synopsis.
Mars likes the onions.
My layers.
It's fixed now, thank you.
The onions are fantastic because you know what happens is you read the synopsis, you think you know everything, and then you read the story, and then you realize there were little breadcrumbs left for you to follow the whole way.
Oh, that can lead into the other part of tonight if you want to move on to that with the trailer bit.
Oh, sure. I honestly think I can talk about that in not great detail, But I don't think there are too many spoilers in it since it's mostly
I
about
mean,
character
that's kind of
interaction.
the point, right? Like, I don't really have
Exactly. So
you know.
I think we should be good. I don't think we're keeping the trailer a secret.
No, no.
Best eaten raw. Well,
Been having so many
Jamie,
problems
you
with
might want a
onions
story
recently.
with a little seasoning as well. Just a dash. Make it spicy.
Rotten seasoned. Yeah, no, exactly, John.
Raw unseasoned. Ooh,
Exactly.
I might have to rethink that.
That's where the title came from, right? Like that whole thing
Yes.
of like the system where they are in society and all that sort of thing, and then that they are cast out and all this sort of
Oh
stuff.
gosh,
So
I think we went
one
through
little letter.
5 different titles.
I don't even so
before we
the
settled on
titles
Outcast.
I don't remember as much. The synopsis we still have like written down, so like I still know the different iterations we took with that.
Oh, I have it pulled up right in front of me.
Yeah. But so yeah, I don't remember going through the different titles if I'm being honest. I remember like logos and stuff. At one point the logo was very different.
Oh, the logo was incredibly different.
But I much prefer
I like the one we settled
Oh
on
yeah,
personally.
this one's way better. Essentially the old one
Beautiful.
I think I can actually show it. You can go on. I will show it while you continue to talk.
Sure. So, yes. So, from plot synopsis to trailer, which honestly, they're kind of similar, right? Because you're trying to reveal certain information, you're trying to get people engaged and excited without revealing too much. The only thing that's really changing is the medium by which it's shared. One is written and the other is visual. So trailers and plot synopsis are kind of one of the same. And what was really fun about the trailer, we were doing it to the song Castaway because every good trailer needs to have a song. It kind of doubles as an opening as well. And I believe I've said in a previous stream that I took a lot of inspiration from anime openings, particularly the more modern anime that's come out in the last few years, like Mob Psycho, Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm trying to think, Erased as well. That's a fantastic example of an opening that leaves breadcrumbs for you to follow.
Very quickly, Mars, Jamie talked about how doing light novels have the whole last sentence in their title, and a lot of anime have been going that way, and it pisses me off.
So
I
many
honestly
anime.
hate it. I hate it so much. It's like, I don't know, it just leaves nothing to like, it's like, let me put the synopsis as the title. And I don't know, I don't want to go around and being like,
Jamie,
just a
Ori,
mouthful every time.
I think the reason people or creators are doing that is to give their creation a way to stand out.
I guess.
Because if you just give it like a one-word title, you could get a bunch of results.
Well, that is
if you
true.
Try to look
you
it up.
do want to
Now,
make
if you're
sure.
forced to look it up by its full title, you're only gonna get the one and only creation.
Yes.
I
But
can't guarantee that's what's going through their minds, but I would not be surprised.
But so I learned a bit about something when like talking about titles and stuff, and yeah, it's exactly titles that are too long, right? Like there is like a give and a take, right? If your title is short, you have to check that nothing is really like the same, right? But then when you have longer titles, it's like, yeah, you're gonna know what it is. You're not gonna find something else instead, but like now I have to remember like 8 words,
Yeah. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Really quick, I have the old icon. So this is the original idea for the title, what it looked like here. So it had this sort of triangle that was alluding to the caste system sort of thing, very blocky, very whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It does carry the whole story, and to a point it's like, eh. So yeah, that was that. but the one that we do now, which I like a lot more, is more related to the story, which is this one with the sort of scripted outcast and then the quill. And that's much more of like the vibe.
It just really speaks to the vibe we're going for. It has that old-timey look. It has something else
Yeah, it's
that
got
I
that
cannot
faded...
talk about.
Yeah, it's
But-
again layers.
No, I can't talk about.
Layers.
I can't talk about it. This is Hotson's writing feather, and
Yeah.
that is his handwriting. So now it's tied in a little more to the main character as well. Oh.
Yeah,
that's-
exactly. That one, Extreme Volca. There was like a new one Mars just told me about that we might watch that had like a long ass name. You know, it's a
I'm
double-edged
trying
sword.
to remember the one I told you about.
Well, that's the point, right? You can't. Exactly. You know,
I really can't.
versus when you get like one of my
I didn't
favorite.
think Type Cui Bisco was that long.
No, it wasn't that one. It was like another sentence one. It was a new one. To give it back. No, I promise it's his. He's kept it with him.
That belongs to him.
But yeah, it's sort of that double edge where yes, it makes it easier to search and find what you want because yeah, there's other things that are named Outcast with an E, you know, like such as life. But you know, but then if I don't even know what I would call it as a long name. John said 5 sexy men on a beach. You know, that's not what the story's about. But
Time I got stranded on an island and was forced to unpack my trauma.
yeah. So you know, it's I got abducted by pirates and liked it. Like who knows?
If it weren't called Outcast, it'd be called Baggage.
Yeah. Luggage specifically because it's a trip. Because it's a trip. Your luggage. All right. But,
well, not only is it a trip, but it's also emotional luggage.
Well, exactly. But that's why it's luggage over
Double
baggage,
meaning.
right?
Aha! I've done it.
Oh God. All right.
I told you guys, I love my double meanings.
We're changing the name. Screw this. No.
Who needs Outcast?
But
Nah. Too late.
yes. All right. So back to the opening.
Back trailer. So, series is called Outcast. The song we chose to represent our series, at least in the first season, is called Castaway.
And I'll find
and it's
it.
a very lovely song. I do believe we've shared our playlist. And even then, it's pretty easy to find on YouTube. I can honestly post a link right here and now.
I'll do it right now.
These pirates got booty job. Some of them do. Ferrix might. No, actually, scratch that. Ferrix does.
Do you remember who it was by, Mars, off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no. The
Ready Set? Okay, yeah,
the
Ready Set.
Yes. So Castaway by the Ready Set.
I got it.
Beautiful song. Absolutely love it. But that is what we chose to represent our boys. So, creating the trailer was certainly a feat because you're trying to summarize who these characters are, what they like, what their personalities are like, where they are, what's going to be discovered during the season. And you have to fit that all into 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's a task, but eventually I started tackling it from one angle because there are some anime out there. You will see maybe around the 2000s or even 2010 that relied on playing clips from the episodes themselves. So that way, when you saw it in the opening, you would eventually get to that scene and it'd be like, oh, I recognize that scene. That's a scene of them around the campfire and being all wholesome, and it would get you excited that way. So I considered that angle because we do have many scenes where they're either hanging out around a campfire. There are a lot of character moments going on, but it wasn't quite working. And it wasn't quite working because I couldn't decide which moments were the most important. And I wasn't sure how they were going to flow from one to the next. What does this have to do with that? How are we getting from here to there? What am I actually showing in these scenes besides just a pretty campfire scene? It wasn't really going to serve the purpose that it needed to. So one of the benefits of using this song is that, well, surprise to no one, it had lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So I use those to kind of guide how and where the characters would show up. So I'm actually going to start this with an example first. There's an anime out right now called Chainsaw Man. And the opening is honestly fantastic. There are so many layers, there are so many hidden meanings to it. It is absolutely amazing. But one of the ways it uses the lyrics of the song that the singer is singing over the OP, the lyric goes, "Hard work, future, a beautiful star." And every time it gets to the beautiful star segment, it cuts to a shot of one of the main character's friends. Now, that was not done by accident. That was most definitely done on purpose. So what I did was very similar to that. I started looking over the lyrics and seeing, well, maybe there's a character that fits this verse. Maybe there's a character that fits what's being said here. And lo and behold, I did find something. And once I found that something, it really helped cement where the trailer was going. I'm actually going to pull it up on my side so I can actually correctly tell you guys what I'm telling you about.
A quick funny thing is the idea is that, as Mars and I have talked about before, we listen to a lot of music that is specifically like music that we associate with the comic somehow. And so this this has been in a playlist
of like 57 songs.
This specific song, Castaway, has been in a playlist of multiple songs that we were like, this could be an opening, and this could be an opening for the comic and everything like that. So it had been in our minds that this was like a possibility for this song for a while, but I still didn't realize how good the lyrics were going to fit to what Mars used them for in the end. Yeah, is it good, John? It's good, Johnum, isn't it? It's a good bop playlist. I listen to that playlist in the shower every time.
I'm so happy you listened to it. No, that's like my stress relief playlist when I come back from school at the end of a day.
Need a link to the playlist again?
I'm pretty sure I linked you to my playlist story if you just want to send that again.
Okay, I don't know where it is.
If you still need, let me know.
I don't know, where did you link it on Discord maybe? I don't even know.
I thought I did.
Okay,
Did
I'll find
I
it.
not?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd have to find it.
Well, maybe. Well, anyway, back on topic. So, there was a verse that talked about a diary. So the lyrics were, "I heard you say that you were right in a diary of a nobody and the pages burn right through." Those are some pretty interesting lyrics on their own. And I was kind of thinking, okay, what character's vibe does that match? And Ferrex came to mind, specifically for the line of a nobody. Because, again, without giving too much away, these characters do have some past trauma going on, and a lot of them don't feel very highly about themselves. Well, then I took it a step further. I was thinking, how are we showing Ferrex in this scene? Well, he's typically in trees and hanging out, off the ground. So, okay, maybe he's reclined, maybe he's sitting back. What if this were a POV shot? So then I started wondering, who would this be a POV shot of? And it's one of those things that's very hard to describe. It is very hard to describe how and why an idea clicks. But this one really did. And for some reason, but a very good reason, it all came together
It's all
when I
coming
realized
together.
the POV shot would be from Hotsun, and that Ferrix was going to look directly at the camera, sneer at it on the line of a nobody, and then turn away on the line the pages burn right through. So now that I had this scene set, yes, thank you for demonstrating, Ori.
I know the song too well, I edited it, okay?
Oh, same. I listened to it 1,000 times. Honestly, guys, the biggest way I got this trailer done, I just had this song on loop, and I walked up and down my hallway for 3 hours just envisioning what I wanted it to look like. So now I kind of had this idea of, okay, well, if Ferrix is being introduced from Hotsun's point of view, from this POV shot where the camera is Hotsun, and Ferrix is directly sneering at it, well, that's doing two jobs. It's showing us who Ferrix is, and it's showing us how he feels about the person behind the camera. He's sneering at them. He doesn't like their company. He's kind of turning them away. And when that doesn't work, he turns away himself. He doesn't even want to look at them. So now that shot's doing two jobs. So then I came to this other question. How will Ferrix be introduced? Do we just slowly open up on the shot like a fade out of black? Does he just appear out of nowhere? Well, that's not incredibly dynamic. That's not very satisfying. So then I was thinking back to a couple panels that we've done before, where he's been hanging out of trees and his tail's been hanging out of trees. I thought, what if his tail is dangling from the top of the frame, and then we either pan up or we cut up to see Ferrix in the tree? Because now what's happening is that when we open on the scene, we see a tail, a fossa tail, dangling from a tree. And from the audience perspective, this makes sense. We can see the jungle all around us. It pretty much goes without saying we would see some animals there. But then the quick cut to Ferrix shows, oh wait, this isn't an animal. This is a collar. So not only are we establishing who Ferrix is, what his personality is, we're also establishing the idea of collars in this world as well. Because audience expectation would be, that tail belongs to an animal. No, it doesn't. It belongs to an exalium. So,
Jonam, I will bet that Ferrix will be your favorite character because when you're a side character boy,
100%.
and I think it's 100%. No,
Jonam?
not collars. There, but kind of.
No. Collars.
Yeah, so they're spelled like that.
Yeah.
And but the similarity in the sounding to collars, the thing that goes around necks, is definitely intentional.
Definitely not by coincidence.
It's definitely not a
I will say
coincidence.
that.
This we had a lot more. This I remember going through a lot more.
Oh, we went back and forth on this so much.
Well, so collars are the, I wouldn't say like the semi-derogatory, but definitely like common name.
Say the Les Mis term.
Yeah, the layman's term,
layman
but it's
term.
definitely not used as like a nice thing. But it was kind of taken back, I guess. Like, how like gay was, right? Like that went through like a whole cycle, right? This sort of thing.
Very
Queer
similar.
to, that sort of thing. Where now it's okay to use, but it definitely came out of not great using sort of thing. But it references to they're all like that, the animal people, right? So what Milano is, what Ferrix is, everybody like that. And it comes from like a call, like them making a calling noise because they're animals, like calling. But collars exactly also because they're animals and they're oppressed, and then all that sort of stuff. But also call is close to crawl, and again, four-legged things and all that, so it has a lot of... Yeah, exactly. Exactly, a Tathis, exactly. So it's definitely like they can use it for themselves, right, very easily, but you have to be careful when you're not one of them and going around being chill.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Okay. So, with this idea of Ferrex being introduced with his tail, I started wondering how many other characters I could introduce in a way that represents the animal they are. So the next one in the lineup was Sinnit. He just really happened to fit the next verse incredibly well. And his actions don't really pair too much with the lyrics, not as much as Ferrex's did, so I'll skip that. But what became fun about Sinnit's segment is that he's a shark caller. And he has these sprigs of hair that stand up. Well, in one scene later on, we do show that, kind of similar to Hotson, he's a bit of a science guy, and he does keep a plant garden. So now I had this idea of, what if we see him enter the frame, but he's not fully shown. It's just his little sprig of hair moving through these plants, kind of like a shark fin through the water. Boom indeed, John'em. Boom indeed. I'm not sure what boom is in reference to.
Jamie asked if there was any bird characters,
so
and so I just silently showed Aster. He is a black-browed albatross. Is what he is based off of.
Yes.
So, yes. There will be other bird characters because feathers are my favorite shit in the world, even though they're also my pain and suffering. But, you know, such is life.
And my pain and suffering when I have to do the flats for them.
John'em, you're just... My heart soars. John'em, you know so much.
He is the cook.
Great.
Yes.
Jamie, that means I did my job good. Okay.
Oh.
That means I did my job great.
Okay, we got some bird people here. I love this.
I'm having a good time. Y'all... Alright. Making my night.
That's great. So with this idea of Sinnit entering frame, and it's just his hair showing through the plants, well, he's kind of hiding. He's not really in full view. He's kind of hidden in a way. And then, of course, on one of those notes, he's going to pop up, kind of look at the camera and maybe give it a little wave, acknowledge it. But he's still being blocked by the plants that he was, you know, walking through before. And boy, don't that sum up Sinnit's character incredibly well, especially with his attitude toward Hotson, because he is welcoming toward the newcomer. And he is gentle, he is friendly, but he's still a little guarded. And in the trailer, in the opening, we show that by having the plants be a barrier between him and the camera. So he's never fully exposed. He's always kind of hiding behind something. And then we moved on to Aster. So Aster got his little scene with the campfire and cooking. He was interesting to introduce because I wanted to sum up that he was a cook, but I also wanted to introduce him as his animal in the same way I had introduced the other two. So I thought the best way to do that would be having the camera be behind his back, and as he's like tying his apron around his waist, his wings kind of flare out a bit, so it gives him that kind of pose like he's about to take off like a bird. Honestly, that scene didn't go as deep as the other ones. But what is interesting about it is that Aster looks toward the camera, And it's not a full-on look like Ferrix or Cynic gave. You know, Ferrix did his little turn to acknowledge and then scoffed at it. Cynic did like a welcoming wave. Aster just kind of gives it a side glance, like he notices something, but then quickly turns away. And that too kind of gives you a sense who Aster is. He definitely notices things, but he's not too worried about them. He just kind of acknowledges the presence and then goes back to what he knows. Cooking and taking care of the people around him. And then we come to the last character to be introduced, Milano. Now, Milano's segment was very fun to write for because there were a lot of things to convey with him. He's a captain, so that had to be portrayed. He's a very open and friendly character. He is probably, along with Sinet, the person who doesn't show animosity towards Hotsun. But he's not guarded like Sinet is. So that was something that had to be worked in as well. So it started out with, how are we going to convey he was a captain? Well, it could have been very simple, very easy. Just stick him on a boat. Job done. Show him at the helm of a ship. Show him in the rowboat he uses to come back to the island. And it could have been a done day. I kind of wanted to do something a little different. Because while he is a captain, he's the leader. And not just a leader, he's got a whole crew behind him.
I mean, look at this man.
He loves very dearly.
Look at him.
And wants to take care of. Well, exactly. That is the pose of a protector. You are not messing with this guy and who he considers family. Unnecessary complication. Well, hey, you call it unnecessary complication. I call it layering.
Honestly, my favorite thing about our story is essentially the fact that, like, we write stuff and then it's like, and it goes back to this, and it alludes to that, and it doubles with this, and it does
really
X, Y,
does.
Z, and it's
and
crazy.
Honestly, it just comes together in so many ways sometimes. There was a particular moment with Eric's backstory where I was pacing my room trying to figure out this wrinkle, and all of a sudden I got it. I leapt to my desk like a freaking panther and called Dory immediately because I was like, I have to tell her.
We can show off everybody's design while Mars is talking. This is Milano.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, show off
my
our
beautiful boy. He is
So-
a Cayman.
Yes. Black Cayman.
Mhm.
Very cool. Very powerful. But he's also got a very playful side to him as well. So, how best to convey that Milano is all these things? A captain, a leader, a protector. Well, there's a set piece in our comic. It's essentially a treehouse, but it's a very complex treehouse. Why not have him stand in front of that? All these rooms, all these little houses. Because now we're not just showing he's a captain, he's the leader of practically a small village. And he's got that whole village behind him, behind his back, protected. So that was how that segment opens. So he as well faces the camera head on, just like all the other characters. And he gives a big grin. And unlike the others, he's not hidden in some way. All the others kind of jolted and surprised or looked up in shock when the camera focused on them. Like they were caught off guard. Like, what are you doing here? But Milano doesn't do that. He's pretty welcoming to whoever is behind the camera. And he's not hidden in any way either. There's no tree for him to pop out from behind. There's no nothing. He is completely out in the open, unlike Sinet was. and he offers his hand out to the camera, kind of like a gesture of, here, take my hand. And it just stays there. We don't see if the person on the other side of the camera takes it. So Milano is just kind of left standing there, holding out his hand with this very welcoming smile. And then we have a quick cutaway to Hotsun on his own ship, about to approach the island. And where the trailer had left off with him, his eyes were closed in concentration because he's gearing up for this adventure. He's trying to build himself up, brace himself. On this line, after it cuts away from Milano, he opens his eyes. So that's kind of alluding, well, we never saw anyone take that hand. But considering it's immediately cutting to Hotsun right after, we can kind of put 2 and 2 together. Now, those were a couple ways we left not just some breadcrumbs, but also some idea of what these characters are about, what their personalities are like, all that good stuff.
Well, you're an OG,
honestly,
Johnum.
You could probably watch the trailer and get an idea of who these people are, because that was honestly my goal. My goal when writing this trailer was to make sure that people could understand these characters' personalities without having to read the comic. If I managed that, I did my job correctly. Not the navigator, John.
Yeah, he's the medic. So Sinet's the medic.
He's the medic.
Aster's the cook. Ferrix is the carpenter.
Ferrix is the handyman.
The handyman. Very smart. Of course, Milano's the captain. Hotsun will essentially become the navigator. And, oh, goodness.
Oh. Something happened on the other one? I didn't see anything.
No, so... Alright.
Why not?
Okay.
I guess that's how we get welcome to YouTube. Very cool.
Yeah. Hey, you know, we're getting bots now, so that means something, huh?
Woo! They're noticing us! Ha ha!
Oh, it happened a couple times.
But, yeah, if anyone has any questions or wants me to go into the trailer a little bit more, I haven't talked about Hotsun's parts in the trailer yet, but I do have to be a little bit careful. Ooh. You're just doing damage control, Lori?
Yeah, I fixed it. It's all done. It should be all fixed now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm checking the other stream just to make sure.
Yeah, should be all
Oh,
good.
that's always fun.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Yeah, it worked out. Oh, geez, I've been talking so long, I need some eggnog.
Jamie, do you mean the music for what I'm watching on the other thing? It's just it's the classic, you know, lo-fi girl, lo-fi hip-hop beats.
The lo-fi study girl.
Robots were a mistake. Alrighty. I gotta keep moving with these freaking panels. I am behind.
But I don't think, I think I skipped over how to essentially do a synopsis. I kind of jumped right into trailer. So backtracking a little bit to earlier this night, some key elements to incorporate into synopsis. We had to introduce this idea of callers. Somehow, it had to be in there. There was no getting around that, because not only is it an essential part of our story, it kind of tells people what kind of story they're going to be in for, because there is a little bit of commentary happening in the story we're telling between the characters, between the society they inhabit. That might not be everybody's cup of tea. So we do have to kind of be a little upfront about, hey, this is the kind of story you're signing up for, and explain to them what a caller is and how society interprets that. is very important. So that was something that had to be included. Another thing, you want to make sure your characters are represented as well. Now, you might not want to go into every single character. You might not want to say Hotsun, Milano, Ferric, Sinnet, Aster, and all of them are on this island, blah, blah, blah. That's just a little too much. Boil it down to the essentials is the key here. Hotsun and Milano. Because those are the two narrative drivers of the story. At least for the moment, they are. So you have to allude to Hotsun and who he is. What is he doing here? What is his circumstance? Who is Milano and his ragtag band of caller pirates? What are the stakes of this season? Now, you've probably seen, since Ori has been redoing the first few entries, there is an intruder on the island. Now, not only is this a threat to Milano and his crew, because this is an unknown person that might disrupt their way of life, it's a threat to Hotsun because he doesn't know if he's being followed or if somebody is trying to steal his life's work from him. And that seemed an important angle to go with. There were definitely some stakes from that plot line. So essentially, the synopsis we got was this. Callers, a species of human with animal-like traits. In this society, you are either a human or a caller, but in a world divided, the outcasts have to stick together. Stranded on an island, researcher Hotsun Aram has no choice but to place his trust in a group of ragtag caller pirates and their eccentric Captain Milano, aka the Devourer of the Seas, to get home. But when it seems someone else may be on the island, it puts the pirates and Hotsun's research in jeopardy. And that's it. That is all you need. You have the premise, you have the important players, and you have the threat or the conflict. And I would say those are the essentials to writing a synopsis. That is a way to get your audience hooked. You introduce them to the world, you introduce them to who they're going to be watching the story happen to, and you introduce them to what the characters will have to overcome.
I'm like dying over here. My apologies.
No, I'm sorry. I just took a water break.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
so
John,
I'm
very happy, John, that you know so much about them from just us rambling about them every week. It means a lot. We're very
really
excited
does,
for release with doing everything.
Yes. Oh, we have a whole month of fun activities lined up, but that'll be revealed later to the date.
Yeah. Essentially, January 1st, everything's freaking kicking off.
Oh yeah.
Popping off.
It's kicking off. It's going. We're excited. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Oh my god. I can't believe this is actually happening.
It's pretty wild, if I'm being honest.
I'm gonna be a mess.
So it starts out fully anatomically correct, Jamie, and then you can edit it however you want, essentially to give it more or less anatomically correct stuff. But yes, so I actually have them set up so that they are the proportions and relative sizes of all the characters, so that I can pose them with each other and they can be the right size. Yes, I use Clip Studio Paint. That's the program I'm in. And it is all set up. So this is actually specifically like Hotsun's model, right? So it's Hotsun's size. So when I put him next to Milano, like he's always the same size. And when I put them next to Aster, like they're always the same size. So it keeps the heights consistent.
Consistent. Yes. Consistency is very important.
Mm-hmm. And then it means that I can like push people into the background and I can push people into the, the foreground, and then their size will remain the same. Okay, probably had a better pose that I could have started with, if I'm being honest. look
Are
better.
you committed to that one?
No, I'm just gonna see if I can find the one that I want, because I think they have the one that I want.
But yeah, if anyone in chat or Ori, if you had any questions, please feel free.
This is the one I want. So,
I don't believe she's able to add animal aspects of the characters to the models.
So not-
I think she just draws on top of them.
yeah, so not to my knowledge. I haven't found anything with that, and I haven't really done anything. People do some wild stuff with them, so if you are good with, like, Blender or ZBrush something, I think there is something that you can do. I am not I'm not that. I am not a 3D anything. So this is more just a thing that I get to do. But all of the animal aspects are coming in. So, like, none of the models have digigrade legs. So I add those, right? Because you can't really make the body proportions right with the sliders that you get out of this. But it's still really useful for, you know, even just figuring out poses like this. Because then you can have, like, all the different angles, I think is the best thing, right? Because I could draw somebody hugging their knees, like, from the front, you know, but if I want it, like, hugging their knees and, like, from an angle where it's, like, looking down at them, you know, that's, like, a different story. So it's definitely interesting. Every once in a while, they're not perfect. What pose? This pose here that Hosen has, which honestly, in love. Thank you. Love it. Great. Lovely. I actually specifically didn't do
that's a good one.
On stream because it actually involved me. I couldn't do it with just the model. I actually had to pose myself and take a picture of me and then overlay the Hosen model over me as an image so that I could get the actual pose right and then have his body structure. But yeah, so it's not infallible, but... And I just want to point out, these feet were so good the first time around that I kept them the same. They're beautiful. Love them feet. And same with Hosen pose. I kept it relatively the same on a couple of these. It's very nice. But you can very much see the difference in Milano to the first time and this time. I mean, he glow up, am I right? Glow up.
Oh, big time glow up. He's looking more like himself.
Yeah, I made a little attempt at learning Blender, mainly for the idea of making like a 3D space so that I could have like a 3D posable model of like certain areas on the island so that I could like keep it consistent relatively there of like sizes and stuff. So that was it, but yeah. Okay, I think I'm actually going to change the shape of this panel. Okay, questions from Mars. Let me see. I wasn't thinking before. Synopsis. We kind of talked about that. I guess the biggest thing is like we had a couple different sort of synopses right before we settled with the one that we did, and the one that we did is one of the shortest versions because it is character limited, right, and that sort of thing. So I guess the biggest question I have is because I was recently listening to someone on YouTube discuss a book series that they read that had some really big problematic tropes in it, and
I'm very curious. What's the book series?
Harrow Fair, I think. And
send me the video. I'm curious.
It has it's a long video because it's like 5 books, but it has a very interesting story, like concept and everything, and that's why the person picked it up in the first place. But unfortunately, it romanticizes abusive relationships, and so you know, really, it's called Harry Potter. That one got me.
That romanticizes other things, John.
Other stuff, yeah,
like
yeah.
Abusive relationship. Oh wait.
But so that's what they were talking about. But it was the idea that like, you know, you go into the story, and you read like the cover, and it's not exactly what you end up getting. right? So I guess my question would be, how do you make sure that your synopsis says enough that someone's not going to be suddenly surprised by the contents of your media, right?
Okay. Oh, and see, that's the trick, isn't it? Because again,
Exactly.
you want to make sure you're being specific enough, but you're also not being vague. I would add on to that by saying you also don't want to include fluff as well.
Clickbait, exactly.
My
I
my
hate
guess
clickbait.
is that the synopsis you're referring to kind of left off some key details.
Like, it didn't talk about the romance at all, whether or not it's, like, romanticizing abuse at all, right? Like, my understanding was that
Yeah.
the synopsis didn't have anything about abuse. It made the character that is the love interest and the end game love interest,
That I
to
am
be the villain.
very curious about.
And,
Because
yeah.
if it's a romance genre, like if its purpose is to be a romance novel and it did not mention romance in the synopsis, that's a failed synopsis, in my opinion.
I don't
It neglected
think
to mention a key element of the plot.
I don't think it was listed as a romance, but it is a very large, whether or not it is a very large part of the story. Like, it is a very major part of the story. Like, they're, like, back and forth all the time.
You know how I would equate that to our story? I would equate that to if we left off the bit about callers entirely. And we just stuck with it being, here's Hotson, he's on this island, oh, he runs into Captain Milano. What misadventures will they get into? This is why I said, like, including the caller aspect was a key element. Because not only is it setting up this idea that these people exist and that this is the society they live in, but it's also setting up reader expectation for what kind of story they're going to get as well. So yeah, for that book to leave out the whole, I'm gonna put it in very heavy air quotes, romance element, that's the equivalent of us not saying in our synopsis what a caller is. And funny enough, I think I did write a synopsis where we did not mention what a caller was.
Yep.
And I think initially I had written that before we had a couple of the main story beats figured out. Once it came to our attention and we determined that this was essentially going to be like social commentary diet, it wasn't even a conscious decision.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. So many of these decisions, like creating the trailer, writing these things, it's like you don't realize that in the moment they are not conscious decisions. It just, like, I remember discussing with you, we were in a call together that night trying to do the synopsis, and I was bouncing ideas off you. And I just wrote a couple of synopses that defined what a caller was. And I think the reason I had you on phone was because I kept asking, like, hey,
what are they?
this is what you have. Well, it was more like, this is what you have as your definition. How scientific should we make this sound? And as you can hear with the synopsis I read you guys, it was not as scientific as it could have been. It's very straightforward, to the point. It's a human with animal features. That is pretty easy for people to pick up on and determine what kind of characters.
And it brings in the furries, right? Like they come in, we lure in the furries this way. They're a big audience, you know.
Oh, absolutely. What was the one? Skates of Furry or something like that?
Yeah. Blades of Furry.
Blades of Furry. Thank you. Oh, such a good series.
I'm not ashamed, Extreme One Guy. If y'all are in here and y'all are gonna hate on furries, you're in the wrong spot. You know?
Oh yeah.
See, Jamie knows what we're at. Like, come on, Jamie and I are kindred spirits. I feel, all right. You know, we got a lot going on.
I got respect for anyone who can run and dance around in those costumes.
I would love
And
to
can
do
make
that.
those
I've
costumes.
debated attempting
you
to
have
make
my
one.
respect.
I just don't have the time, man. That's a lot of time.
Well, also, where are you going to keep it when you're done?
Eh.
I
At the
see your
moment,
room,
I don't
man.
have
There's
closet
no
space.
space left.
Don't call me out like this. Don't call me out like this.
I'm already trying
Well,
to turn one of my
yes.
closets into a cosplay closet.
They are expensive.
That's been an adventure.
They take a lot of fabric and other
yeah.
materials Extreme Book at. But I gotta tell you, like,
I mean, it's a full suit.
it would be so fun to do that. It's like cosplay
yeah.
plus, you know? I would be wearing it, Jonathan says. That's what I would do with it afterwards.
She'd just live in it.
I mean, I feel like that's the experience, Jamie. That's the experience.
Oh yeah. Only a select lucky few. But yeah, actually going off that, this idea of trying to cut the fluff. There were a couple synopses that I had synopses.
Yeah, I think it's synopses.
I think synopses. There was a synopsis I had written that had a little bit more detail. It talked about Hotsun, sailing for days on end and discovering this island and what led to him being stranded. And then it went into the Collar Pirates, and that synopsis talked a little bit more from Hotsun's perspective. This is definitely an interesting thing to debate when it comes to your own creations, because you can decide if you want to have it told more from a character's perspective or if you want more of an outsider looking in perspective. I personally think our final synopsis, the one we've settled on, is more of the latter, the outsider looking in, because it's very objective. And it's not taking anyone's side. It doesn't say anything about Hotsun being nervous around the pirates. It doesn't say anything as this being Hotsun's last chance to get home. Whereas there were previous synopses that did say that. One of the lines was, despite this, Hotsun sees a chance to get back to civilization and makes a deal with the captain to take him back. So that's both an example of how there's a little bit of bias in a synopsis, that it's favoring one of the characters, but also that's just kind of fluff. You could still get the gist of the story without that detail. Does the audience need to know that Hotsun sees this as a chance to get back to civilization? Do they need to know that he's gonna make a deal with the captain? Well, unless this deal is selling his soul or something, it's really not important to have in the introduction, in this synopsis.
Yeah.
And besides, that's something that's going to be found out later. It's not a crucial point in the main plot. It's one of the story beats, but it's not critical information that the audience should have right away.
Exactly. And I think it's sort of interesting because in that in sort of they taste like trauma. That's what they taste like. No,
trauma and angst.
Trauma and angst.
Delicious.
It's interesting that you say about cutting that sort of vibe out of it, because I think a big thing was that a lot of the synopsises we wrote were when we still had our original episode 1. Right.
Yeah.
And so when we lost that, I find that we lost a lot of what a lot of the synopses were. Right.
We lost quite a few.
And just the tone. Right. A very interesting thing when I was sort of researching how to do comics good, right? How to comic good. And a big one was being careful, and I've talked about this on stream before, but being careful of broadcasting what your tone is going to be. I've talked about Madoka Magica a lot, right? That's a very classic known example of first few episodes, classic, magical girl, and then it gets dark real fast and real hard. And while that's not a bad thing, it did what it was meant to do. Like, it wasn't like a sudden turn where they didn't know what was going on. Like, the writers made it that way for a reason.
It was a story beat that was planned.
But it does...
It was the deconstruction of the magical girl genre.
But it does take that risk of alienating both of your audiences at the same time, right? Because at the beginning, you're not drawing in, for those first 4 episodes, the people that would like the edgy stuff, right? You're getting the people that like the cutesy anime girls, magical girl stuff, and then when it circumvents to the dark stuff, they're like, yeah, I'm not watching this anymore, right? So you end up being very word of mouth later on. It's a very sort of late game sort of viewing of the show, right?
So, Ori, I want to do a test. I just pulled up the synopsis for Madoka Magica on my anime list.
Okay.
And I want to read it and see if you decide if it's an accurate synopsis.
All right.
Madoka Kaname and Sayaka Miki are regular middle school girls with regular lives. But all that changes when they encounter Kyubi, a cat-like magical familiar, and Homura Akemi, the new transfer student. Kyubi offers them a proposition. He will grant any one of their wishes, and in exchange, they will each become a magical girl, gaining enough power to fulfill their dreams. However, Homura Akemi, a magical girl herself, urges them not to accept the offer, stating that everything is not what it seems. A story of hope, despair, and friendship. Madoka Magica deals with the difficulties of being a magical girl and the price one has to pay to make a dream come true.
I think that's right. Is Madoka Magica the one where the cat steals your soul? I only kind of remember it. I think you're right. I think you're right, Jamie.
I don't think it's stealing souls the way I remember it, and I apologize if I get it wrong. I have not seen this anime since high school.
Vibe.
What ends up happening, and this is spoiler alert, but I think we're all okay, right?
It's been out. It's been out.
It's been out. You guys had your chance. I'm gonna spoil it.
John.
What ends up happening is the magical girls are fighting these witches, and it's kind of like Persona, where it's happening in a separate realm that's different from reality. Now, these witches were once magical girls, but they're corrupted. So Kyubi has a whole speech, I believe it's towards episode 6 or episode 7, where he's like, yes, we're turning these girls into witches. I guess it only makes sense to call a young witch a magical girl, and that's the big twist. So I don't think it's stealing souls, I think it's corrupting. That's what I remember, though, and then there's a lot of shit that goes down.
But just very briefly, so the idea, this was from my anime, right?
Yes, this was from my anime list, which I think can be updated by...
Yeah, so that's the one thing, is that the concern I have with going off the my anime list one is that it might be written by people who have seen it, right? Like fully, and are not trying to be like the sort of like leading it in, right? So that would be a little, because I think that synopsis does a very good job, but I'm curious if that is actually the synopsis when on release that it was about, because I will say that
the basic one on Google I found is simply, a girl is offered a wish in exchange for a commitment to battling witches, a group of magical beings whose souls have been tainted by darkness, and that's it.
See, to me, that one, classic magical girl, that is not what...
That doesn't allude to it at all.
Yeah, at all, right? Versus the My Anime List one very, very much does.
Yeah, and I think that is because of
I think it's a fan thing. Yeah, it's not a official sort of site, right? Like, it's not like this is where the authors put the thing at the, in-sleeve of the cover, right?
But I think in comparing the two, you can see all those main points I was talking about. We have the setup, we have the characters introduced who are the important players, and then we have the conflict. This threat of everything is not what it seems. Even if it's something as vague as that, and I know I say try not to be too vague, but sometimes a little mystery can be intriguing
More
to
talking
your
then.
reader.
Yeah.
For example, in our synopsis, we end it at when it seems someone else may be on the island, it puts the pirates and Hotson's research in jeopardy. Like, we don't go into why they might be there or why it would put Hotson's research in jeopardy or what danger awaits. It's just, hey, there's something unknown here.
Yeah, exactly.
Intrigued?
The intrigue. Exactly.
Yes. So you use the intrigue to your advantage, because it is a very fine balance to strike. It's vague. It's just vague enough to be interesting, but not vague enough that you're not saying anything. And that's what you really want to avoid. You don't want a synopsis to just be empty, fluffy words, because that is sadly just not going to attract anybody, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. But so, it's always a time to...
Why a time machine,
Because
Jamie?
I believe that the sentiment is they want to jump to when the comic is releasing. I hope that's the sentiment. I feel like that's the sentiment.
I certainly hope
Correct
so.
me if I'm wrong. Otherwise,
Either that or they want to forget everything we have said so they can experience it anew when it does release.
or they want to go back in time to start their own comic. No, I was right the first time.
Okay,
Look at me.
okay.
Look at me, doing great. Well, I appreciate it, Jamie. We're literally like 2 months away. Okay, don't rush it too
Literally
much.
2 months.
I still have
Crazy.
stuff to do. Okay, I'm still not done. So don't
I still have stuff to do. I still have a semester to finish, you know.
don't put the pressure on me
It's
too
a
much
lot.
yet.
But we're having a good time with it.
I'm so excited.
Just to go on a tangent, I think that's also an important thing. If you're not having fun while making your I'm at a loss for words, magnum opus creation, whatever you want to call it. If you're not having fun, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I will say, Jamie, it is unfortunately a webcomic, so even when we release, it's not fully released. You know, it is a
3 episodes.
bi-weekly thing.
3 episodes.
But I am excited. There'll be a lot more behind the scenes stuff going on. Again, I hope Mars and I have business meetings every week, and we just had one about
We're very official about this, guys, I promise.
as we sit there and do random shit at business meeting. Yeah, official. But
No, totally.
very much. But what I was trying to say is that we just figured out we're having a 30-day launch, right? So starting in January, essentially the whole month of January is dedicated to launch-related stuff. There'll be activities in the Discord. There's a challenge thing with prizes. There's a whole thing, all this sort of stuff. Yeah, exactly. The official business solitaire game, indeed. We do wear suits. I mean, we have suits for Ace Attorney. Why wouldn't we wear suits?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't we wear suits? Well, I guess Mars doesn't have a suit. Mars has a suit now.
I do.
So really
Well,
quick.
It's a pseudo suit. Power. I cosplayed Power recently.
Oh, I'm
and-
talking about avatars. I'm talking
Oh.
about you. I had an Ace Attorney
I
suit.
thought you were talking IRL.
No.
Bad.
I had an Ace Attorney suit for Ace Attorney, but you don't have a suit for Ace Attorney. But now you have a suit.
I'm about to have a suit.
Yeah. So real quick, spoilers
Very
because
close.
y'all are the best being here for the comic shit, right? We appreciate all of y'all the most. Don't tell anybody else. But yeah, we appreciate all of y'all the most. After we finish Rise from the Ashes and Ace Attorney, I had discovered this indie horror visual novel game that was just made this past October for a horror visual novel game contest, and it's pretty short. The playtime's only about an hour 20 minutes, but there's a bunch of different endings apparently. So we are going to play it between the Ace Attorney games, right? So we're gonna play one round after this Ace Attorney game, and then when we get to the end of, is it Justice for All the next one? I think Justice for All is the next one.
I think Justice for All.
When we get to the end of Justice for All, we're doing another one. tiny bunny.
No, it is Justice for All, then Spirit of Justice.
Spirit of Justice is later, I thought. Spirit of Justice is like the last game.
What comes in between that?
Trials and Tribulations.
Oh, I always
and
forget that one.
another one.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll have to look into that, Jamie. I think that our game genre will be visual novels. I think that that's the only kind of games we're really going to be trying to play, just because we have the most fun with the voices and everything. So
yes,
that's definitely our thing.
And it doesn't glory stress from hardcore parkour.
Thank you, Extreme Little Guy. I appreciate it. Yeah, and there's a lot less dead time. See, you know, the voice acting part, well, definitely a good game, you know, and appreciate voice acting. That's honestly the most fun of the game for Mars, Dylan, and I think. Oh, yeah. I actually just, so I don't spoil myself of any of the games, but I do a little more research just to make sure that I can make sure everybody's outfit is right, and like I know who's gonna be who relatively, so we're not like overlapping too much, so it doesn't end up being like I'm Ace and Edgeworth, right, or something, you know, something terrible like that, where it's like you're both
I love
the
how you just
characters.
Refer to Phoenix as Ace now.
Yeah, he's Ace. You know, so it's not like, you know, one of us is doing 90% of the voices or something, or we're talking to ourselves all the time. So I do a bit of research. He is exactly. Dylan has a good Russian accent. One of our table members might get offended though. But
that's true.
I don't think he actually would. I think he would find us way too funny at trying. But yeah, so I do a little more research. So I always end up incredibly mildly spoiling myself, in the sense of like, I know that a character appears or something like that. But I've actually chosen to be in Elevator Hitch, there's really only 2 characters, and then there's a third one that shows up at the very, very end. But I've chosen to have Mars and Dylan be the 2 main characters because I get to control the game, because the voice acting is all the part of it, right? So it's like, I don't need to...
Ori has basically made herself God, and Dylan and I are just her playthings.
I mean, literally though, and I'm good with that. We're vibe with that. Yeah, I definitely will, Jamie. Well, it's definitely on the list, right? It's definitely on the game list, because I think that's the way that we're moving. Dance. I'm dancing. Boo, 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 boo. There we go. Boo. Dance.
I call this the raised hand.
Yeah, I call it the...
And I call this one the balancing air.
I call this the bellhop. Do. But yeah, because the point is, I'll show the Mars avatar, because I gotta tell you guys, not 90% of my fun, half of my fun with stream, thank you, half of my fun with stream is freaking getting to make outfits for our avatars all the time, if I'm being totally honest. So here is Mars's avatar.
That's a nice thing about being avatars. We have one dance move.
Yeah. This is Mars's avatar for the Elevator Hitch.
I love it so much. Like, I want a suit like this IRL, guys.
It's great. I gotta tell you, I drew tweed. Okay, I drew tweed. Be impressed. I drew tweed. So yeah, very excited. Business Mars indeed.
Draw tweed.
It is a good suit. Dylan's suit is pinstripe, and then mine is just regular black suit, which is sad. But Dylan's suit is pinstripe, so very fun.
If I wore that to work, how many people would I just bowl over?
We also have
knock them away with the power of the suit.
Should I reveal your outfit for tomorrow, or should I save it for tomorrow?
Let's save it. We're literally one day away.
All right.
Wait.
I'm so excited about
things. You're such a patient and good group.
I'm impatient.
Well, I know you are.
Well, Jamie, so that's the secret. I can actually show you this, because this works out. So this is Mars's regular design, right? So it's brown, white, red, purple. Those are the main colors. So I
Still
make
just the
sure.
torso. I have no legs.
So my intent is not, the confidence is contained in the suit. So my intent is to keep, every character has a color palette. And I forego the colors of whatever character they're cosplaying in favor of keeping the color palette. So I'll like reference the colors, like I'll make sure that like the dark color is the brown and the, you know, like this sort of thing. But so for an example here, Maya is a little outlier because Maya ended up having essentially Mars's colors.
Super colorful.
She ended up having essentially Mars's colors, right? Mars has purple. Maya has a lot of purple, but so I kept those general colors. It's not exactly the same. If you do look and compare it to, you know, Maya art, it's not exactly the same. But you can see Wirt, right? In Wirt has a blue cape, he has darker gray pants, and he has a red hat. But I made sure to keep it because, honestly, red hat on red hair, not gonna work.
Ew.
So the goal was to keep it as the same color palette, but, you know, the same shade, so that, you know, the brown was the dark brown thing. We usually go to about midnight, Anima. Welcome back. And then that sort of thing. Same with Miriam. Miriam, I think her cape was red, but she had a lot more green and stuff going on. So that sort of changed. And I technically didn't give Miriam's entire outfit. I just gave the cape and the earrings and some little bits stuff.
Yeah, this
Merriam and Webster, yes,
going
indeed.
ham.
Indeed. You can see it a lot on my avatar as well because I have kind of weird colors as an avatar, right? So you have the basic one, and then you have my Ace Attorney suit, right? Phoenix is blue. He's not green, you know? So Phoenix has a blue suit with a red tie and everything, but I made sure to keep my green as the major color, green. And then the different brown sort of highlights as the different browns. I technically, in my character's total design, so like Camden, my avatar, has a whole design, has like a third brown, so I used that. As Greg, I used my green instead of Greg's green, you know, for that sort of thing, and everything like that. Good luck, Extreme Book Guy. It's definitely worth it, though. Yeah, here's the Bard. Again, we didn't go super ham. I did just give myself the coat on top. But again, his is, or theirs, the Bard in Wandersong,
He's from over the garden wall, Jamie.
Yeah, Greg is from over the garden wall. Yep. Atathis got it. Yeah, Johnum knows.
We have an obsession with that series.
It's so good. It's so good.
Around fall. We did a watch party.
Yeah, we did do a watch party. It's great. And so, you know, again, the color wise, so. Jamie, weren't you here for the thing? Or maybe you came after.
I think he was here for No Evil.
I think they came after. Okay, so Jamie, and Anima, Over the Garden Wall is a mini-series, is a cartoon mini-series. It has 10 episodes, and each episode, I think, is 11 minutes or something like that. It's short. You can watch the entire series in about 2 hours. It's fantastic. It is very fall Halloween vibes. Okay, so we did do a watch party on Discord, and we probably will do one next year, but don't wait. Okay, it's really good. And again, fall vibes. Definitely Halloween vibes, but definitely fall vibes. It's a really great story about these two brothers who get lost in the woods, and they sort of meet all these casts of like crazy characters and everything, and all that sort of stuff. Oh, hi Hans. Thank you. And I saw Delport had told me that you did the Perfected Spornament as well, so I watched that. Thanks. I'm glad you like them. I'm glad you like both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, and thank you for the follow-ons. Thank you. I mean, you can, Anima.
If you waited the whole year, you totally can, but you'd be depriving yourself of a very awesome story.
No. Nothing like Over the Hedge. It's not. It's goofy and it's fun.
Over the Hedge.
Will do, Hans. Thanks very much.
It's definitely a fun time, Jamie. But it's more grounded in reality. if that makes sense.
And it's
There's
definitely
still
like
wackiness
real.
happening, but there's still a grit to it.
Over the Hedge is a
There's
different
still a
vibe, though,
darkness.
Johnum. It's still good, but it's a very different vibe.
Well, Over the Hedge is an incredibly different vibe.
It's just a
That's
very different
DreamWorks.
vibe. Yeah. I mean, that's DreamWorks for you.
That is DreamWorks being DreamWorks.
Yeah, that's a good attack. It's old fairy tale vibes. Okay, Anima,
So,
Over the Hedge is
Anima, Over the Hedge is a story about some woodland critters who hibernated over the winter and woke up to find suburbia took over most of their forest.
Yeah.
So now they're wondering what they're going to do for food, and a raccoon who isn't being totally honest with them about why he wants to go get this
but
food
knows
is
the way
convincing
around.
them to steal from some houses
Yeah.
to get food.
It's goofy.
It honestly
It's crazy.
is a good watch.
It's
got
definitely
some kick-ass songs. Rockin' the Suburbs is still on the top of my list. It's awesome. It's got some really good
it's a
jokes.
goofy movie, Anima. If you're not into goofy movies, it's that sort of thing. No, John, I think Anima's just very young compared to everybody else.
Anima, I would say you're getting a step below Kung Fu Panda, but a step above Shark Tale.
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of DreamWorks
That's good. That's
movies.
good. That's good.
That
But,
is the quality you're getting here.
No, Anima's just in the younger cohort, Jotum, with like Hunter and them.
Oof. Oh, Anima, that hurt me.
Well then, Anima, don't watch Over the Hedge. All right, not for
Yeah.
you. Anima, have you
Probably not.
have you if you like Gravity Falls or Owl House or those sort of shows, you would like Over the Garden Wall though. It's in that family. It came out, I think, during Gravity Falls' run, and I'm pretty sure that the person who did it has worked on Gravity Falls or something related to that. Style Snivy, long time no see, long time no talk. Everybody's coming in tonight. Welcome. Just having a good time. Great to see
Love that
everybody.
you brought the octopus. Amazing. Lovely.
Long quintuple octuple octopus. Yeah, it's the
Good luck,
octa
Lori.
octopus. Oh no, it's even more. It's the non-octopus. There's 9 of them. I miscounted. My
Oh,
apologies.
jeez. The omectopus.
Yeah, so Anima, you would like Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah,
Very
check
good.
out Over the Garden Wall. It's a good one. It's very fun,
very
and
good.
it's very quick.
Yeah, everybody's joining in. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, we got a good
Fun,
group tonight.
fun here.
Guess you got a lot more points, Ori.
Oh, you're right. I should do that. Okay, we got add. Great. Okay, we got that.
Ooh, I
Who
feel you
else
on that
showed up?
style, Snivy. I hope they've been going well for you. Hopefully your groups are all good. You got people willing to collaborate. Hopefully you'll have better sleep tonight.
Oh my god, I've been sleeping so bad the past few nights. Hoo boy. It's not been great.
I've had mixed sleep, where it's like, I kind of feel rested, but then halfway through the day I start to lose energy, and it's like, oh crap, why is this happening? I got sleep, I ate, I drank the water, like, why?
I'm more at the like it's just like I'm not going to bed at the right time. Like I just am bad and like literally just like there's nothing stopping me. I'm just
Ori,
being a bad
Stop
child.
watching Randy Cunningham on your phone.
No, never. I don't get him this
Stop
week.
watching Randy before bed. I know, and I'm so sad.
Honestly, it's mostly Bluey at the moment, but yeah.
Louis is so good. So
Yes,
wholesome.
yes, Atath. Hopefully I'll be able to figure out what the freaking problem is with the stream thing, because I want the loyalty points to
we've been
work.
having an issue with that.
Not sure
But
what it
rest
is,
assured,
but
you guys will all get your seeds of knowledge. I'm sorry, what, Jamie? Was that an all-nighter that you pulled?
sounds like it. Yeah, 6 a.m. the past few days? That doesn't sound great.
Ooh. Oh, animal health tech. I have heard that one's demanding. Wisdom teeth removal. Ow, ouch.
Ooh.
Oh,
Are you
hey,
getting all
serve
of them
that
out at
for
once,
you, huh?
Style Snivy? Because I definitely recommend getting them all out at once. If you need any of them out, just get them all out. Like, don't wait. I got them all out at once. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. I gotta tell you, I don't know if you're going under. I went under.
I
You
would
should go
personally
under.
recommend going under. I have told my dentist to his face, give me whatever you got, laughing gas, anesthesia, or hit me over the head with a brick.
Yeah.
I don't want to be awake for the procedure.
It wasn't that bad then, Style Snivy. Honestly, like, a little pain afterwards, with, like, the chewing and stuff, but, just eat a lot of soup. I hope you like soup. You better like soup.
Yeah.
But
You will
yeah,
be getting a lot
not
of
that
soup,
bad.
but at least it'll be winter and you'll be very warm. Well, depending on where you live.
You can't eat too hot soup, though. You do have to be careful with that. And you
That's
can't
gonna
use a
hurt
straw.
your gums, I imagine.
That's the vibe of Tethys. I go to bed, but I don't actually fall asleep because I'm doing other stuff in bed.
Oh, I'm like trying to read. I actually have a book that I've been trying to read since summer. And I try to read it whenever I'm in bed. It's a work in progress.
Not quite all
Some
night.
days I manage it, other nights no.
Randy is just so good, Extreme Will Guy. Anima, yes, the art thing is still a thing that ideally is redeemable through that store thing that I was trying to do before, but it is there. And so, if you Discord me about it, we can make a transaction. It's still the same amount, 35,000. So it is still a thing. I know that you and PCM definitely are going for those, so I very much did not want to snub you of that with this transition at all. How it'll end up going, where you redeem it, it might be a little contrived. Hopefully not in the end, but it is still a thing. Yeah, no, Style Snivy, honestly, my wisdom teeth removal happened during quarantine, so that was fun. Well, early quarantine. It happened in, like, January of 2020. And again, I didn't get sick from that. I didn't get the virus, and honestly really wasn't that bad. I didn't bleed very much, didn't have any woozy issues with the anesthesia. Yeah, really good experience all around, Okay, Anima, you're not allowed to...
I have not had my wisdom teeth out. I'm missing 2 of them, actually. They just never grew in.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
I don't have them. But they still haven't said, oh yeah, come in, we gotta pull these out. I'm still waiting for the day.
Oh my god, I am lost in chat suddenly now.
Yeah, same here. Whoa. What is happening?
Yeah, Anima, you're not allowed to call Johnum old, because I'm old. Mars and I are older than Johnum, so you're not allowed. Johnum is a youngin', Johnum is a child, and anybody younger than Johnum is a fetus. Alright, we're done.
Yeah, that is
we're
how
done.
that works. Please and thank you.
We stand, we stand.
Yes we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yep, Extreme Volt Guy's got, what, I think, a year or two? A year, I think? Oh, a month? Alright. I couldn't remember. Okay, Style Snivy's young'um.
You wanted that, Johnum? I'm sorry, we wouldn't have ruined the fantasy for you.
Johnum, I just had this very innate need to not be old. Yeah, so that's a year, Extreme Volt Guy. That's a year. That's a year. I mathematically, like, months works out, but, like, it's a different year. So, yeah.
Well, Anima, you could bring that young perspective to the table. We don't know what the hip kids are into anymore. You gotta help us.
I want to very briefly. I had a I'm happy with the 17 and up. I feel okay, right? Below 17, I start having like a my heart is like weirded out by this, because my cousins are 17 and 18 now. So my younger cousins are 17 and 18 now. So, or getting there. Maybe one of them's 16. I'd have to do the math in my head a little better. But one of them's about to go to college
that
next
math
year.
is all over the place.
One of them's about to go to college next year. So they're up there, right? So yeah. Beyond that, younger than that is sort of like out of my brain zone. You know, like my experience is just gone at younger than that. I feel relatively hip, if I'm being honest, just because the way the internet works, if that makes sense.
She's
right?
self-proclaimed hip.
It's more just like the idea that, like, because the internet is a thing, right? Because the internet is a thing, everything's a bit more interconnected. So there's definitely, I'm no cap. I had to say that in the worst way to say that. Yeah, hello, fellow kids. Now, Anima, you're the outlier here,
Hello,
if I'm being
kids.
honest.
What sports are we doing?
Yeah, Atathis, you get it. Yeah, Anima, I'm as old as your
Anyone
cousin.
wanna do the
So is
floss?
Mars. We're all as old as... Oh my god, okay. The amount of times that I have seen shit reference the floss these, like, past week has been way too many.
How?
Oh, alright, Sile Snivy. It makes sense. Will do.
Oh, you're going to bed. All right. Good night, Snivy. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, glad to see you again. Yeah, you are a fetus to us, Anima. You're very young.
Surely.
If I remember correctly, you're middle school. So, yeah, 14's high school. I would do 13. I'll go 13.
I'm going 13, 14.
Yeah, around that area. If I remember correctly, yeah.
Oh,
if I remember
JV's
correctly.
being thrown for a loop too.
We're all vibing. All us
We're learning so much
18
tonight.
and ups. We're like kind of. Well, 14 is 9th grade. Ah, see?
I mean,
See? We got it.
Depends on when you
We
start
got it.
school.
We got you on lock, Anna. We read you. Oh yeah, no, 100%. We have a couple youngins in our community, but I think everybody else is like 17, 18 and up.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple of
Definitely somewhere in that
of like
demographic.
30s in there and up in there, but you know, it's a fun time. It's a good time. All right, yeah, bye for real this time, Style Snivy. Good night.
Bye for real, Snivy.
Johnum, no. If you remember correctly, you plus Dylan plus I think Extreme Bolt Guy equals 6. So you're really a 2-year-old. That's how it works out. That's how the math works out. But
That is indeed how math works.
I know that 3 times 7 is 21, so I get the joke. You definitely, I definitely wouldn't have known Anima if we didn't have briefly talked about it on stream before. You know, you're definitely not like, you know, talking young. I think the only person that I've like clocked as young was Cool Cat. Otherwise, like you and Hunter are young, but I wouldn't have been like, yes, I know that you guys are like middle school 9th grade age, right? You know, 8th grade 9th grade age. But
Around there.
yeah. So, very, very interesting. But it's something that I actually have to. Well, Cool Cat's younger than you, Anima. Cool Cat's younger than you.
Maybe it comes down to how a person types.
Yeah, it's how they act, it's how they type, you know. It definitely... I think if you've been on the internet longer and you understand internet etiquette more, no matter what age you are, you're gonna come across as older. Yeah, I know, right, Anima? Just a couple years. But yeah.
I think we're just blowing everyone's minds tonight with the ages.
I think we're blowing everybody's minds that, like, I remember
and
all of
over.
this stuff, right? Like, that I remember all of this stuff. It's not that I try to. I hope I'm not being weird. So I just, like, invented.
You think that's bad? I had a reverse of that happen. I don't know why there were middle schoolers in our high school. There just were. And I had left class to go to the bathroom. No big deal. I just wanted to go to the bathroom. Needed to go to the bathroom, I should say. And as I'm leaving, one of the teachers who's supervising the middle schoolers is trying to herd me back into their group. Like, oh, come on, you belong with us. Don't get lost now. And I'm like, I'm a junior in high school. I have gone here for the last 2.5 years. Oh, I'm sorry. Carry on. I was like, okay.
I think
maybe people will still be making that mistake when I'm 30, right?
Honestly,
that's the hope and dream most people
yeah, exactly,
have,
right? That's a compliment at that point, right? You know, if you're constantly like you look 10 years younger, then you'll look 20 when you're 30, and you know, compliment.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's how math works.
It's only Cool Cat, Jamie. It's only Cool Cat, and they don't show up very often, so I'm not particularly concerned. But that's the only one I know of. I think everybody else is above TOS.
Yeah, we try to keep a close eye on that.
What's funny, because also, like, how would I know, right? Technically.
Well,
but
technically, you're not supposed to say anything about your age and internet.
Yeah, exactly. But the big thing that I have to remind myself is that, like, when interesting. Well, keep that in mind, Jamie. At the moment, I'm pretty sure it's only Cool Cat, so I think we're good. But thanks for the warning. But
yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, it was that, nope, I lost it. It's that I have to remind myself that people who are 14 are 9th graders, and that in 9th, 10th grade is when I, like, got on the internet, and I have to be like, that's, like, you know, because my brain automatically is like, that's too young, and then it's like, no, it's not. You're being ridiculous. Think about it.
Oh, now they're hopping on the internet when they're in elementary school, and I'm
well,
just like,
that's too young for not Club Penguin or Webkin related stuff.
Bad idea.
Oh, the Anima has the opposite problems of you, Mars. That's wild, Anima.
Really, Anima?
Yeah, Rip Club Penguin.
Wow.
Oh, you never played Club Penguin, Jamie? I definitely played Club Penguin. I love Club Penguin.
Anima, that is actually insane to me. I did not get my first phone until middle school. Because I had to walk home from school, and my mom wanted to make sure I was safe the whole time. I had a cheap little, first I started with a track phone, if anyone remembers what those are. And then I upgraded to a flip phone in, I believe, 8th grade.
Anima's dating everybody.
Couple years. Really? Yeah.
I don't know, Club Penguin. I'm dying. So I definitely got my phone.
I'm in pain right now.
Oh,
I'm
Pop
in Spain
Tropica, Jamie.
yes.
Pop Tropica, Jamie. That was top tier shit as well. That was top tier shit.
Pop Tropica was good.
I love Pop Tropica.
It had the Cryptid Island. It had the Magic Treehouse theme.
Space. It was everything. Spies. Oh, so good. Why again?
Oh, so good.
What the hell?
Wow, they just really like us tonight.
I've blocked them, so I don't know why they keep popping up. That's what I don't get.
Oh, yeah, they've come back with a vengeance. Oh boy.
All right then. I think it's a different bot because I've blocked them. But
a task, Anima, because what you had to do. I mean, you say you used one, so you know how you gotta press the same key multiple times to get a different letter. It was a task. And the picture quality, like any pictures you were sending to your friends, looked terrible.
Well, I got
a
phone.
No such thing as picture quality.
I definitely got a phone on the earlier side. I got the classic Razr flip phone, pink, top tier. That was like my mother's hand-me-down phone. And I got that in, I think, 5th grade. I think I got that in
Don't know
5th grade.
weapons either. Anima, you're making me feel so old.
God. Okay, I'm glad that... No
My
offense
birthday
to
was only
Anima,
a couple weeks ago. Why are you doing
but
this
I'm
to
definitely
me?
glad that everybody else could commiserate with Mars and I.
Oh.
I don't feel so old now. I just feel like you're way too young.
Spain.
Very briefly, I have all of my old webcam plushes, Extreme Book Guy. They're very nice
I still
plushes.
have plushes somewhere too.
Very quickly,
I can
Anima.
get rid of them.
Yeah, so very, very quickly, Anima. Back in the quote-unquote earlier days of the internet, which is a lie because it's funny. Back before Facebook, essentially, which is a weird thing to say. Back before Facebook.
YouTube.
Back before Facebook.
And me.
The internet was actually a much more kid-friendly space in the sense of that there was actually spots that were just for kids. Right.
Yeah, honestly,
there were a lot more
refinement.
websites. I never did MySpace, so like honestly,
Yeah,
I
me
have no
neither.
clue about
I
MySpace.
missed
That's
that.
before. We were too young for that. I'm assuming, to deal with that.
Surprisingly.
But it was before Facebook because I can distinctly remember when Facebook became like a thing, and which is again really weird to think about. A good reference, if I remember correctly, we're roughly the same age as Google, around there, in that sort of range. But the point is that there were a lot more websites that were specifically made for kids to be on and play kid games and interact in the internet space. And the first big one was Neopets and Webkins, where you would purchase a toy and you would get a code and you would go to this website and you would implement the code.
Was genius
and you
marketing.
got virtual pets that you got to make houses with, decorate them, give them virtual clothes.
Think of it like Animal Crossing, honestly, in that regard.
Yeah, you
like,
got
you
to
have
play
pets to look after. It's basically Pet Simulator, but with upgrades.
So I was right at Tathis. We are Google's age.
Oh wow, Google is this.
That's what I remember. Yeah, because it turns like a year, like right. Cool math games. Yes. Yeah, no, Anima, you're young. Everybody else here is the vibe. We're the good section. Yeah. So and you could play like games within the games and all of this sort of stuff and all that sort of thing. Really, really fun. Club Penguin was a slightly different story, where Club Penguin was a website that didn't involve a purchase outside originally, but you could purchase more merch and put it into the game.
You could purchase membership passes.
You could purchase membership passes.
I was always begging my parents for those because I wanted my penguin to wear clothing. And
yeah,
I wanted
it
to
was
be
like
able
the
to buy the clothing.
Membership passes were like like their World of Warcraft, but for kids, right? It was a monthly subscription thing. And, but you could also purchase, like, Puffles were these little puffball-like creatures that were pets for your penguins. And you could purchase stuffed animal Puffles, which I have somewhere. And they came with a code that would give you, Puffles in the game. And everything like that. So that was a whole thing. And again, you could wear clothes as your penguin and build your igloo that was like a house. There's all these games. My favorite thing was as a penguin, if you were online for if your account was a certain amount of days old and you did certain things, you could become a spy and you could go to the secret spy area and you could do secret spy missions, which were like, they were point and click games, right? Like they were point and click, like find out how to do things, like kind of escape the room-esque sort of vibes. Super fun.
Essentially. Awesome
stuff. Really, really fun.
Yeah, they knew how to appeal to kids. They really did.
Yeah. World of Warcraft is still a big thing around. It's a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Where, it's very D&D vibes. A lot of people who play D&D like it. And it's a subscription base, so you have to pay monthly in order to get the whole game.
Oh, we got a raiding party!
Oh! Oh, thank you, Hans, for the raid.
you.
Thank you for the follow, Orchid. Very nice. We're talking
Oh,
about
thank you.
feeling old in here, so
Yes, because anima made us feel old.
Anima made us all feel old, very young.
Hello, everyone.
I'm making fans. Delphor, hello.
Oh my
Drow,
gosh, thank you
awesome.
so much.
Zelda Elf. Oh, these are such great names. All of y'all have such great names.
Orchid Twilight, how pretty.
Well, Ravencraft.
Ravencraft, that helps.
It's definitely animas that's just on the outlier
just
here.
Lamenting right now. We're very sad.
Boswell, thank you for the follow.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much.
Good, Atathis, I'm glad everybody's good
I'm
then.
with Atathis on this one.
Oh, Ravencraft, thank you. Yes. So we've been talking about Club Penguin.
Amazing.
So anybody in the Club Penguin era of stuff, that's that's where
Zelda
most
Elf
of the
90
chat
Studios,
was.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, now we're all good. Well, thank you so much, Hans. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much. Always great. Yeah. I'm glad.
Thank you for bringing the party with you.
Always fun. Yeah. I know we have a couple
truly
people in
was.
here who are definitely home reviewers, so that's what Hans Half-Elven does. Sometimes, I don't think that's all it, but they have sort of Unearthed Arcana days. They go over stuff. Very fun stuff. I think they had a guest last week. Trying to remember.
Oh, that's very pretty, Orchid Twilight. I love that.
Oh, that's fun. Sometimes I love seeing everybody's usernames on stuff. They're just so fun. Versus we got Johnum here having like basic name. You know, come on, Johnum, step up your username game.
No, Ori, he can't. It won't let him change it.
You're right. Twitch is sad
It
and
can't
won't let you
your
change it.
display name unless it's just capitalization.
That is very sad. Very true. Jamie, yours is at least like a fun sort of like, you know, you didn't spell out Jamie, right? Like I like the effort there. Ooh, Ravencraft, you post on Reddit mostly, or?
Yeah, okay, Orchid. I still think it's really pretty.
Oh, that's super fun. Yeah. All right, John. I'm sure. Sure. All right. I'll accept.
Oh, Boswell, hello, welcome. Well, we were talking about all the ancient relics lost to time, like Club Penguin,
yes,
Pepkins, Flip Phones,
the bigger thing that we do on
Over the Hedge, which is what got us started on this tangent.
But the bigger thing that we do on Tuesdays here is we talk about comic making stuff as I draw stuff for our comic, as Mars and I are two creators making a comic. Exactly. And so we talk about comic creating things and everything like that. Chat rooms.
And about summarizing your story, which hopefully y'all learned something from that.
Yeah, so if anybody new from the raid has comic related questions, you know, definitely for you. But we're also sort of at the random part of time. All right, well, we'll give a little. You want to give the elevator pitch, Mars, for all the new people here about the comic?
The elevator pitch. Oh, you want the synopsis?
Yeah.
Is that what we're looking for? Well, okay. Who am I to deny a request like that? So, when we're all ready.
Go on.
Callers, a species of humans with animal-like traits. In this society, you are either a human or a caller, but in a world divided, the outcasts have to stick together. Stranded on an island, researcher Hotson Aram has no choice but to place his trust in a group of ragtag caller pirates and their eccentric Captain Milano, aka the Devourer of the Seas, to get home. But when it seems someone else may be on the island, it puts the pirates and Hotson's research in jeopardy.
Yeah, so it's not released yet. It is released in January, the end of January, the 30th. We're very excited.
Through
We've been working on this for about 2 years
a lot
now.
of fun activities coming up for that as well.
But we do a lot of things. For the most updates, would be joining the Discord.
Yeah.
We got a lot of
We
stuff.
have
That's
been working on this since 2020.
homebrew over there too. You know, we got the homebrew in there. We got the comic stuff. We got, you know, just general art related stuff. So that's always fun and the best way to kind of keep track of everything.
Animo, what a power
Captain
move.
Greybeard, ooh, beautiful Ravencraft. If you have art of them, I would love to see that.
Oh, yes, please.
Pirates are the vibe, you know.
are
I think we could all agree.
vibe. They're great. They're amazing.
And what I'll do again is I'll show off all the characters again because you know I like to do it. Why wouldn't I? Why
not?
So
You
this
know,
is
we have
our
so many new people here. I think they deserve to see.
this is our main captain, Milano. All right, he's got
Yes.
a lot of stuff. Here's another
The self-proclaimed devourer of the seas.
yeah, very nice. Ooh, that's still fun. Cosplay's still very fun.
Oh, I adore cosplay so much.
Oh, I'm glad you love him, Drow. I love him too. He's my favorite. So he's like the
we all
second
love him.
main. The true main is this boy here, Hotson Aram.
This is our main lead. He is a researcher. Very studious type, as you can tell.
So very
This guy
great.
looking a little out of his element, isn't he?
I'm assuming that's a good people are infiltrating the server extreme book guy and not a I need to do mod related things. So I'm gonna leave that one.
Oh,
I'm gonna leave that one.
No, looks good on the
All right.
front.
Good. This is major side character number 1, Ferrix, lovely man. He's
He
chaos.
is a color based on the fossa,
Mm-hmm.
and Milano was based on the caiman.
Yes, Milano's based on a black caiman. Ferrix is the fossa of Madagascar. They're very fun. Yeah, it's
Like
kind of
our,
cat-like, kind of weasel-like. You know, they're kind
like
of in the middle there.
Little ferret almost.
Yeah, arboreal. You know, very good climbers. That's
Yes.
what they do.
He's the handyman of the group. He's got his pouch of tools with him. Oh, see ya, Anima. TTFN.
Good night, Anima. We're not old. You're young.
Wait.
You'll be old one day.
No, Ori, I just said TTFN. I have cemented myself as old.
Ta-ta for now. All right. Yes, we have beautiful Sinnit. He is a
Yes,
bamboo
He
or
is
walking shark.
indeed a shark.
So he's fun little boy. He's the medic of everything like that. Yeah. I mean, love Winnie the Pooh.
He is
Winnie the Pooh's
phenomenal.
great. And then we have, last but not least,
I'm just gonna mute myself for a minute.
how dare you? But last but not least, we have Aster, who is based off a albatross, and he is the sort of cook and everything like that. So that is everybody, the main cast of characters of the comic. We talk about it a lot every week and everything. I'm excited. I'm excited for everybody to meet everybody and in the comic when we do release, because it is a little time to release, but I have fun with the
We're
feathers.
hoping you all love them as much as we do.
We got a lot of Aster
These
people
boys are
here.
family to us.
We got a few Aster. I know Johnum's Ferrix. We got Atathis and Jamie are both Aster boys. The wings. Do I have any other good wing art stuff? Let me try and remember. I definitely
think you
like drawing
have-
wings. Oh,
You have
I,
your OC Griffin.
well, Griffin. I don't have a great image of his. I really need to redraw him in like digitally. But the
Ooh, I'll be
bigger
checking that
one
out, Ravencraft.
I have is
Where did you post it?
it's this boy. It says love the wings. This is actually pretty old art. This is a year ago. Thank you, Jamie. I have a lot of fun drawing the feathers. A lot. They're probably my favorite thing, but I do enjoy. You'll get him, Johnum. You'll get him. I promise. Thank you. Well, Tyvus is unfortunately not a part of this comic. He's with a different group of characters.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's
But
not
I
in.
do think this is one of the things Ori showed me to get me on board with the whole half human, half animal
It is.
idea.
It
and
is because I loved
you guys
him
just thought, how could I
very
possibly?
very much. Yeah, I loved him very much. Robot Bird, very good. Alrighty, we'll take a look.
Cosplay City, indeed. I'm trying to find it. Where was it posted?
I think
What
it's in
channel?
it's in Hans's Discord, I believe.
Oh, I'm not a part of that, sadly.
Yeah, I was right. It is in Hans's Discord.
Okay, you'll have to send it to me then, Ori.
All right, I'll send it to you later. It looks good. It looks good.
Oh, I believe that.
Raccoon character, very nice. We like the half animals in here. That's my vibe.
Oh, absolutely.
This
Why
was
be a regular boring human when you could be a human with a tail? Or a human with claws?
this was Griffin that Mars was talking about. This one he doesn't have his wings. His wings are in this one. This is a much older piece of art, but that's why I gotta redraw it. But this
you
one's
can
traditional
see
art.
the evolution.
Well, this one's traditional art as well, so that's like 2 years ago.
I still think it's gorgeous.
Ooh. Yeah, they made a whole there's like a specific grung insert, Hans, I believe. So you can do grung. I enjoy the grung as sort of enemies to do as well. Very nice, Extreme Bolt Guy. Congratulations. I hope you have fun. You'll have to remember your session so you can tell them about the next Thursday. Thank you, Jamie.
I am
Yes.
so lost. What is grung?
Grung are little sort of like the toxic little rainforest tree frogs with all the fancy colors, but if they were a people, a race in D&D. So they're tiny, they're cute. I canon their language to go something like that's how I speak grung. And it's great.
That.
Ravencraft, mixing animals, chimeras is my favorite thing in the world. I love them so much. We've just started as a table playing Pathfinder 2e. We just made our characters, and I am a summoner, and so I have a summon that is going to be the craziest shit in the world for mixing animals, and I'm very, very happy.
And I am a living puppet, a poppet, brought back to life, which is amazing. And my character is a really good cook. That's basically going to buff and heal her allies with her cooking. And I'm so here for it.
Yeah, go ahead, Ravencraft.
Oh yeah, please do, please do.
Well, I'm very glad, Extreme Book Guy, and that's good because then, you know, you'll have something to talk about for the next Thursday Drawing with Dragons stream. From Pathfinder 1e, Ravencraft, very nice. This is our first sort of foray into the Pathfinder world at all. We've only done 5e instead. Oh, ooh, lots of maps. This is fun. Very nice. Maps and maps. I like all the maps.
Ooh.
Very nice world.
Wow, this is so organized too.
Yeah, this is really neat.
I like this. Okay, because it's me, I have to check out the NPCs.
I'm like, I don't know which I want to read into
have to.
first. House rules, very nice. Is this for 5e or is this for Pathfinder? Or is it its own thing? I don't know.
Okay.
Good night, Hans. Thanks for the raid. Nice seeing you. Always nice talking.
Nice, Hans.
Great to have you.
Thanks for
Have a good
dropping by.
night.
Thanks for bringing the party with you. Appreciated very much.
Yes, exactly, Extreme Little Guy. Soon you will know all the lingo. You're right, Johnum. All right, we got 27, 37, and 47. We're getting through those sevens.
Very quickly, too.
Okay, go into the encyclopedia. And then go. There it is, encyclopedia. Oh, flora and fauna. Ooh, okay. Ooh, I love me some plants. Oh, this is a lot of plants. I love me some
Well,
plants.
Ravencraft, I assure you, we have that in spades. Granted, it is just the one that we currently have, but, you know, one day there may be more. But we do have an idea of where this story is going. We have an idea of how we want it to end. So rest assured, you will be getting a complete story.
Yes, we're very happy with this. We have discussed, you know, in length essentially with each other that it's like, even if nobody reads it, we're still making it. So you know, I've been called, my partner calls me crazy multiple times that we have done so much work on the comic without releasing anything yet. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to make sure that it comes out on a you know, a consistent
On
clip
some kind of
and not
time-based.
like being crazy or anything.
Yeah. We do have a mid-season hiatus planned. But
Welcome, hello, sneaking in.
hey,
Ooh, a Batman inspired comic, very nice.
ooh. Is that on Webtoon or is that something else?
Who knows? Looks like they backed it, so it might have been on Kickstarter or Patreon, something like that. No, Dylan, stay on YouTube. Give me them watch hours. Parry,
Yeah, no,
stay on
please.
YouTube. Give me them watch hours.
Please, please.
Oh, a print. Very nice, very nice. I enjoy...
Ooh.
I have a bunch of comics that well, more like graphic novels technically, that I haven't read. But my favorite one so far is, I really recommend The Legend of Brightblade, Ravencraft. It's a bard story about bards for bards, essentially. And it's great.
By bards, for bards, about bards.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that, Johnum.
I mean, that's essentially what I've been doing all night.
Doing both?
Yep.
I'm on
Yeah, I
both
got
too.
one window for Twitch and one window for YouTube. That way it's collecting those views.
Oh yeah, we gotta get them that watch time up, you know? That's what it's for.
Absolutely.
You've done it, Perry. You've done it. Sadly, it didn't seem like my my things worked very well before, but we'll figure them out.
Yeah, that was tragic. But we'll figure it out.
First time, growing pains. Oh,
Sounds
strong
like you got a
chef
stick there,
themes.
Ravencraft.
Ravencraft, have you heard of a manga called Dungeon Meshi? It's getting an anime. And if you like cooking chef themes, and I know you like tabletop RPGs,
And Fantasy Worlds.
it's great. Okay, so I'm gonna pitch this because I love this. This is my favorite shit. Favorite manga. I don't read a lot of manga because I'm not a big black and white art person. I love this one. Highly recommended. It is called Dungeon Meshi, or Delicious in Dungeon is the English title. And it is literally bare bones. A Dungeons and Dragons party doesn't have any resources, and they have to go through a dungeon. And in order to get through the dungeon, since they don't have any food, they have to eat their way through the dungeon with a guide. So it's all about doing the slaying monsters in order to have their guide, who's this old dwarf who's really great, show them how to cook it and make delicious food out of it. And I think it has kind of not super in-depth recipes, but it definitely goes into a little about what the ingredients are, so you can approximate them, and it's great. Oh, everybody's moving over to YouTube now. The Great Migration. Thank you very much.
Look at you, pilgrims.
Pilgrims indeed.
I have heard of Dungeon
Yes, I have
Munchies,
heard of Dungeon
baby.
Mushies. I think you sent it to me,
wanna
Mars.
pick it up so bad. I did,
Yeah.
because I saw it and I was immediately like, Ori's gonna love this.
Yeah. If only I had more time for games, unfortunately.
Oh, I feel that so hard. I am literally I am literally sitting here like, I want to pick up Persona 5 for Switch. I'm pretty sure that is what winter break will be dedicated to, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm
'Cause
not
I
Pokemon.
want to get through that game. Maybe yes, maybe no. It
I've heard
depends
good
on
things so
if
far,
I
so
get
we'll see.
I have heard good things. I have heard good things, but man,
Ooh.
I do have a bias against game companies releasing games that still have glitches, and that
Yeah.
has been an upward trend
Dylan
for
and I
a
were just
very
talking about that today,
time.
actually.
It's really starting to become a pet peeve of mine, maybe to a detrimental degree, because I am very hesitant to buy any video game anymore. Like, because what if the frame rate is crap? What if it glitches to hell? What if there's rendering issues or something like that? It's like, I don't have a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of money. So if I'm going to spend money on a game, it better be a fucking working game.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe.
Sorry.
Dylan has been playing Dark Tide, which is a Warhammer 40k based video game, and it's on its, I think it's open beta now. It had a closed beta, and now it's on its open beta, and I don't think he's technically said anything about glitches, but definitely things about like the user interface for the frickin' like weapons and stuff to like understand like power and like stats that you need to have, like don't have any numbers and no way to compare them easily, so you have to like break out a ruler, and it's just not great. And it's like they just haven't been on top of sort of great of what they've been doing, to the extent where it's still a good game and he's still gonna get it, but it's definitely like, why is it kind of half-baked? Oh, it crashes a lot too. There you go. So that's glitches, right? You know, so it's kind of like, I understand it's a beta, but yeah, it's a concern.
Okay, well, if it's a beta, that kind of gives
but it's like coming out very soon.
I'm talking about a full release game that you are paying full price for. That's just a pet peeve of mine, and I have found it so hard to look past. And Jamie brings up a good point. The mistreatment of game devs as well is also...
that's a whole thing. I love the idea of Dungeon Wheat. Very fun, Ravencraft.
Your players get to cook? Do they get to make flour?
Ooh, that's the fun of it, huh? That's the cooking rules in RPGs is great. Oh, it's on Indiegogo, is Screecher. Yeah. Oh, neat. Cover art looks nice.
Oh, which one did you get, Jamie? Did you go for Scarlet or did you go for Violet?
But very nice.
How
very
high
fun.
of a skill do you need?
Well, you know, you have to be Gilith. You can't be, you know, like Nuriel trying to take his jewelry skill into, you know, cooking or something.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the Hope
that's
Extreme
the
Bolt guy.
way of doing it, Jamie. That's the boss way.
Wheat off the cob, huh? Wheat off the cob.
Oof. Talk about a bland taste.
You know. Oh my god, how many times is a bot...
keep coming back!
It's not the same bot. It's literally never the same bot.
Definitely a
It's
different
just a, like, slightly
Seriously,
variation on the
why?
bot name, so I don't understand. Very odd.
Well,
Very
hey, if they come a fourth time, we get a free sandwich, Ori.
Yeah. That's the true ticket, huh? Oh, whoops.
You put the bot in timeout.
I accidentally put the restream bot in timeout, but such is life. it timed out for 1 second. It should be back now. It should be working out fine.
Oh, hopefully not Ravencraft, otherwise we're all screwed.
The bots are getting smarter. They're just slight variations on the same name every time. Picked up on text. Maybe.
I can't even begin to guess how it works.
You know,
It
it's
just
honestly not that
comes
bad.
every so often.
I'd rather it be a bot just saying, like, you know, alluding to, you know, that content
You
than
know,
it being, like, a person that's being annoying, like that one time.
bot is okay because it can be handled easily. Like it's not forcing anything to appear on our screen. It's not
Oh,
doing
don't even.
anything that can get us banned, knock on wood.
Yeah, Jamie, I think we were
Live
talking
with
about that.
bot. It's just annoying.
Oh, I'm totally going for Fuecoco when I get it, and I'm probably getting Scarlet. And Extreme Book, I'm definitely going for Fuecoco because I love him, and he's just for Alligator, but the red one, and I'm very excited.
I'm going for Sprigatito because Grass Kitty. What more can I say? It is a little pot cat and it's so cute.
That's definitely funny, Ravencraft, because like I didn't grow up in New York City, but Mars and I both live relatively close to New York City, so we've been there. And yeah, there's definitely some weird people walking around. I remember sitting in a restaurant in, I think it was in Soho, maybe? I feel like it was Soho. And there was just a guy, butt naked, on a tricycle, in the middle of winter, just riding around outside. Riding
Oh, well,
around
that
outside.
just sounds like New Paltz.
Yeah, you know, just funny stuff, huh? No, I know you said Vegas, Regan Cat. I'm just sort of like I'm equating that like similar things have happened to
Making a
me.
comparison so she can relate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
I have
long
never
time.
I have never been to Vegas, so there you go. You know, you beat me. You've beaten me. Oh my god, John, I'm scarred for life. That's what you're telling me here. Scarred for life.
Oh man, poor Johnum.
It's, you know, it's caused him to be who he is today, and I wouldn't change that for the world.
There you go.
Without
I'm
this
good
one
with that.
character-defining moment, we wouldn't have John the all-consuming. And, you know, the world would never be the same.
Maybe he would be John the Unconsuming.
Oh my god.
Go back in time, move the Warball, suddenly he's the Unconsuming.
Oh, Parry, that's concerning. It's a weird... Cities in general are a weird place.
They really are. It's just like a hodgepodge of random stuff that you'd never see anywhere else.
That's what
And
you learn to
it's
do, Jamie.
phenomenal.
You learn to just shake your head, put your hand up, and walk away.
You just, honestly, you become numb to it. You just kind of tune it out after a while. And depending on how many times you visit the city, you do it pretty quickly.
Fair trade. Alright. At least for kids, huh? At least for kids. Alrighty. Let me see here. That is very true, Atathis. Definitely. I think it's the more people, the weirder it generally becomes, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, more personalities to account for, more types of people to account for. Yeah, it's gonna get crazy.
Alrighty. I think we'll start...
To be honest, we trying to show that in our comic.
That is very, very true. Groups of
And
people
we brought
are
it full
weird.
circle.
Okay, I think we'll probably move over to starting to close down stream here.
Yes. It is past midnight
It is
on
definitely
our
past
end.
midnight on our end.
Or you said you have been sleeping terribly.
It is very unfortunately true.
Aw,
But
poor thing.
yeah, we'll see. I'm looking for someone to raid, so we'll see sort of what's happening. What's going on?
Yes.
Lots of
Let's
people
see. We're gonna raid someone, guys.
trying to raid a smaller person. Let's see. Let us see.
Who could use a good party to lift their spirits?
Any suggestions from chat? We'll see. It's a good playlist, Extreme Milk Guy. I listen to it all the time. I listen to it a lot. Alright. This one's not particularly small, but I think we'll go here. They're doing Disney princesses, but D&D.
I mean, Jamie, I am biased towards long hair. You have seen our characters, so...
It is very true. Let me go.
I am always here for a good Edward Elric braid.
Alrighty. Alright, guys. Well, thank you all for hanging around. Oh, you have a suggestion for a cooking channel, Jamie? Sure. What is it? What's the cooking channel?
Yes, we can go raid them.
It just takes some time, Extreme Milk Guy. Cooking without looking?
Without looking.
Alrighty. We'll go raid Cooking Without Looking then. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks thanks everyone who came from Hans for the raid.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Ravencraft. Yes, we talk about the comic every Tuesday starting around about 10 p.m. Before that, we have a little fun game session with chat, which is also really cool. So if you want to join that, that starts at 8:30. Then we do some other fun stuff throughout the week.
That's true, Jamie. We'll do the first one today. Remember that one. We'll do that one another day. I gotta be reminded to raid more often. So today we'll do casters and cantrips, and maybe tomorrow we'll do cooking or something.
Eastern Standard Time. Do I have that right, Ori?
What are we talking about?
Ravencraft is asking when we start talking about the comic. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Yep.
Aha, I did remember. Yay!
Eastern Standard Time. It's no longer Eastern Daylight Time because we don't do it. However, in the Discord, if you do join the Discord, I haven't checked there who joined, but I'll put it in again. If you do join the Discord, you can set up your time so that you can actually click a little clock and it'll translate to your time once you set it up. So that's really fun. Otherwise,
a lot of thought was put into that.
Thank you everybody for joining us, and we're gonna hop on over into this raid. And yeah, well, hopefully, Jamie, you know, they keep going back and forth about it. They really do. So it's unfortunate.
I mean, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Let's head over here and give. They're doing Briar Rose right now. All right.
Ooh. Okay. Let's go see.
All right. See you guys.
See y'all tomorrow.